Recently, performers have taken to dressing in drag to show solidarity with the trans community as well as drag performers and push back against bills banning drag performances, being transgender around children, and bans on important gender care services for minors. Jeff Hostetter, a comedian famous on YouTube for his prowess in handling hecklers, made his statement on the comedy stage at the Comedy Catch in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Hofstetter is no stranger to discrimination. He has an adopted sister and grew up seeing firsthand how society treated a black girl adopted by a Jewish family. He used his set to point out the hypocrisy and absurdity of lawmakers claiming that a person in a dress is somehow inherently sexual. He pointed to the fear that people have, like Lauren Boebert, that somehow exposure to LGBT content is going to make them gay or their children gay. He said in his bit, as if reading the book Little Women would have somehow made him a small girl. After his set, Hofstetter talked openly with the crowd about his experience in buying the dress and having to try it on, not knowing which dressing room to go to, and trying not to make others feel uncomfortable. He empathized with trans people who have to deal with that feeling every day, saying, I cannot imagine going through life like that. He was just talking about the fact that trans people don't get to feel comfortable out in public in some of these spaces because of all of this anti-trans rhetoric, and the fact that right-wing people are making the public feel like trans people are somehow predators and making people feel unsafe around trans folks. But I had a lot of that in my experience coming out. Just that fear of, where am I going to be safe, and how are other people going to feel about me being in these spaces? Are they going to be uncomfortable? What's going to happen? And it really is terrifying a lot of the time. So it's great that not only he's come out and worn a dress to make that stand, and show one, that it's not any big deal, but for him to gain that insight and to see so deeply into the experience of what a trans person goes like was just really wonderful. Having the same ideas as Hostetter, the indie rock band YOLO Tango dressed in drag during their Nashville concert earlier this week to protest Tennessee's bills labeling drag performances as obscene. During their show at the Basement East, YOLO Tango frontman Ira Kaplan came out in a dress, wig, and makeup, while bassist James McNew wore a sun hat and shawl. The duo apparently didn't make any statements about their protest during the show, choosing only to comment afterwards. What we did last night couldn't have been clearer and requires no further comment. So they were a little bit more tight-lipped about it than Hofstetter, choosing instead to say that our statement was made on stage. Like, it's obvious what we were saying, what we're pushing back against, and they didn't need to make any further comment about it. So, two powerful examples of people standing up against those anti-trans bans that are happening in some of these states, specifically here, Tennessee. And as we talked about at the opening of the show, going on right now is an event to benefit organizations that push back against these laws in Tennessee. It's called Love Rising. And if you hit the link in chat, or just look up Love Rising live stream, you'll get to the information. And it's $15 to view the live stream. There's a lot of great musicians that are there. Sheryl Crow, Haley Williams, Hosier, and then, as I said at the beginning, a lot of country stars that I am unfamiliar with because I'm not a country girl. So take my word for it. There are over 15 acts that are there performing live right now that you can watch via live stream for just $15 that goes to support the trans youth in the state, trans folks in the state of Tennessee. The organizations that are benefiting from this event include Tennessee Equality Project, the Tennessee Pride Chamber, Out Memphis, and Inclusion Tennessee. So thank you all so much for taking part in that hype train and supporting the Transverse here and what we're doing, but also consider going and taking part in that live stream, getting some great live entertainment and getting to support some great organizations.